All right, let's do this. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys enjoy your day. So, we're here. It's time. We've got a pivotal matchup with some serious playoff implications. It's an AFC North battle. We've got the Ravens heading down to Cleveland to take on the Browns on Monday Night Football. It's going down. This game is important for both the Ravens and the Browns. The Ravens trying to make a serious playoff push. Winning this game will not only guarantee they have a great shot to make it, but would send a message to the NFL that they're starting to get back on track. As for the Browns, this is their opportunity to show people that they could be a legitimate playoff team. I believe they're going to make the playoffs this season, but beating a team like a Raven, somebody who's seen as a big brother, both the Ravens and the Steelers, they're seen as big brothers in the AFC North. For Cleveland to beat them at this time, in this moment, would solidify them finally being where they want to be at this point. So this game is important. Not only that, but let me tell this to Browns fans. This is not the game the Browns want to drop. Because right now, the Ravens are sitting at 7-5. You guys are at 9-3. If Cleveland loses this game on Monday night, they'll drop to 9-4, and Baltimore will raise to 8-5. If somehow the Ravens and the Browns end up finishing the season at like 11-5, the Ravens will end up being in front of the Browns because they'll have the tiebreaker since they would have swept the Browns this season. And if that means there's a playoff spot left, the Browns could very well be out of the playoffs at 11-5, which would be insanity. So this is not the game the Browns want to drop. This is an important game. This is a game that will help them establish a message that they're finally here, they've arrived, and now they want their due in the AFC North. As for Baltimore, this is a game for them to get back on track and show that they can make that serious playoff push and that they can actually be legit playoff contenders this year. Who knows? But we're going to find out Monday night. So, let's get into it. What do the Ravens need to do in order to come out with the victory in Cleveland? Well, let's start with our offense. No question, the number one thing our offense needs to do is to run the football effectively. That defense for Cleveland is going to be much tougher. Last week, we ran for 294 yards against that horrible Cowboys defense, and it was so efficient. Against the Browns, that's not going to happen. The Browns have one of the best run defenses in the league. It's led by Myles Garrett, who's also going to be looking to get to Lamar Jackson in this game. So we need to be able to effectively run the football on them. We've got JK, we've got Gus. We need to be able to utilize them efficiently. I don't have a problem with Ingram being involved, but he cannot be involved early on. We need to utilize these two backs as much as we can for the most part. And if you want to put Ingram in at the last second to kind of do a little bit of an extra blow, I'm cool with that. But JK and Gus need to be our main backs in this game that's doing the most amount of running. They are our two guys that needs to do the most amount of damage in this run game. Next, we need to be able to protect Lamar Jackson. Like I said, Myles Garrett's going to be coming for Lamar Jackson all day. So if Lamar does not have time to throw the ball, it's not going to be pretty. And if Myles Garrett gets his hand on Lamar, he's going down. If he can get his hands and there's nowhere for Lamar to run, all Myles Garrett's going to get to him. Now, of course, if Lamar's going to take off, he's got space. I believe Lamar's going to beat Myles Garrett in that. But with Lamar in the pocket, with no protection, and Myles Garrett's one-on-one with somebody, trust me, Myles Garrett's going to win that. And if he gets to Lamar Jackson, it's going to be a tough tackle, but Myles Garrett has proven he can make that tackle. He can make that tackle. So, it's going to be tough, but for the most part, we got to be able to run the ball. We need to protect Lamar Jackson, and most importantly, Lamar and this passing game need to be able to get it going early on. We need Lamar to be able to get into a rhythm early on against Cleveland, and let's see if we could try and go for a big play early on to just jumpstart this offense. We're getting a lot of pieces back. Andrews will be playing in this game. Snead will be playing in this game. So those are two weapons Lamar Jackson loves throwing to and he's used to. You get Andrews back so you can be able to attack the middle of the field again. Willie Snead playing that slot position. He's going to be a guy Lamar can go to as well on third down or in those short passes. And now you get Marquise Brown as well. And it seems like him and Lamar Jackson are starting to get some level of, they're starting to get some chemistry built up and they're starting to actually show on the field. They're being effective. What I'm hoping is that what we saw happen in the game against the Cowboys continues to happen for the rest of this season. Because if we can get Marquise going, and then you have Andrews, who Lamar already has a great chemistry with, and Snead, who has been the most effective receiver in the last couple weeks before he ended up, being put on the list. If we can get these three guys going in this game, it's definitely going to be it's going to be effective, and it's going to be a great boost for our offense. So I'm looking at Lamar trying to get this pass game going, and I believe he can do it because, Lamar in the game against the Cowboys, I gotta say, man, for the first time in quite some time, Lamar actually looked happy to play football. Lamar looked like Lamar. Yeah, he was coming back. He only had 1 day of practice in 16 days. He dealt with the whole situation, the last couple days, feeling those symptoms, and he managed to get himself healthy and back out there. And you saw him there. He looked happy, and he looks like Lamar Jackson. He was just playing like Lamar Jackson. He basically looked like the Lamar Jackson we love. He wasn't perfect, but he was out there having fun. He was smiling. He was making plays. And that throw to Marquise was beautiful. So if Lamar Jackson starts to get in the groove, and he's getting all these receivers back, and they can be effective early on against Cleveland, this could go in Baltimore's favor. And we know with Baltimore, if they can get up early, and they can establish a rhythm, and they keep that rhythm up without turning the ball over, it's going to be a nightmare for whoever they're facing. Because when everything's working, everything's perfect for the Ravens, and they get in their groove, and they're starting to dominate both in the run game and just being able to make plays over the top with their receivers, good luck stopping them. Once Lamar's in the rhythm, it's very difficult to get him off. So if we can get him in the rhythm early on and get a big play down the field, it'll spark our offense, and we'll be in a good position. That, alongside with the run game, would bring a lot of confidence for us to win this game. Now, switching over to our defense. This is where the concern comes. For one, Calais Campbell has not practiced all week. It seems that calf injury is still harming him. I do not know if he's going to play, but this is not exactly the week. We need him. We need him this week. Looking back at it now, maybe putting him in against the Cowboys wasn't the right decision. Maybe that extra rest could have helped him out, because even though he finished the game, he still looked kind of hurt at times, and it was clear that he has not recovered from that injury. So I don't know if he's going to be able to play against the Browns, but we're going to need him. The thing that scares me the most in this game is their running game. We're first in the league in running the football. Guess who's second? Cleveland, because they have that two-headed monster in Chubb and Hunt. These two guys are effective in running the football. They're so talented in running the football. And that is the identity of the Cleveland Browns. Speaking of that, Cleveland, you guys need to give me my credit. I want my credit. Way back to when you guys got blown out by the Steelers, I saw a lot of Browns fans overreacting. And I came on here on a video and told Browns fans to be patient and give it time. I said, yes, getting blown out was tough, and your season's already starting to go in kind of a rough direction because you got blown out by Baltimore and blown out by Pittsburgh. But I told you guys, be patient. This is a new system that Stefanski is trying to implement, and it's going to take time. What the Cleveland Browns need to do is find their identity, which was clearly running the football. Your offense needs to go through Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Run the football. Just run the football, focus on the run game, tighten up the offensive line, and put Baker in a situation where he's throwing the ball on play action, because he's so effective when he's doing that. If you can put him in that situation and Baker doesn't turn the ball over, Cleveland was going to be in a great position. I said that way back to when you guys lost to the Steelers. And guess what? Stefanski implemented that. The run game has been your identity, and Baker Mayfield has done a great job not turning the ball over. Other than the Titans game, which, he turned the ball over in the end, for the most part, he's been relatively clean. In fact, even in that game against the Titans, he played well. That was his best performance of the season. And before then, he wasn't exactly playing well, but he was being smart with the football, and he wasn't turning it over. This is exactly what I said you guys need to be patient for. Stefanski is going to implement this. So I want my due, Browns fans, and just credit to Stefanski. He's done an excellent job. He's utilized this talent efficiently. He's utilized the run game to its full potential. He's utilizing this receivers to its full potential, and he's putting Baker Mayfield in a perfect situation where he's able to dish it to these receivers through the play action game. And Baker has done a fantastic job not turning the ball over. That's what made them effective so far this season. That and the way their defense has been playing. Put these two together, and you can clearly see why the Browns are 9-3. They're a great football team, and they have to play like that against the Ravens if they want to get a win. Back to the defense for the Ravens. This two-headed monster is going to be scary, and if Calais Campbell's not going to be in the lineup, I'm a bit nervous as to how we're going to handle it. We still got Derek Wolfe, we still got Brandon Williams, Judon's still going to be there. The person who's probably going to replace Calais Campbell will be Madubuike, and we'll just have to continue going with that. And we also have Ngakoue in there, so we'll see how it goes. If Calais Campbell can't go, we will have somebody put him in there. We'll still have to see how it goes for the most part. But our main priority on defense is two things. One, stop the run. Slow down Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb as much as possible. If we can slow these two guys down, we're going to force them to throw the football with Baker Mayfield. And it's going to be difficult for them to be able to do that through the play action because they haven't been able to be effective in the run game. If we force Baker to sit in the pocket and throw the football, that will give us our best chance to win. At that point, it's Baker Mayfield versus the Ravens secondary. And at that point, I think that gives us a great opportunity to actually be able to beat them for the most part. Secondly, once we force them to once we force them to have to change tactics into which they would have to throw the ball with Baker in the pocket, now we got to get to them. This pass rush game has to step up for the Ravens. Our pass rushing has been mediocre. Last week against the Cowboys, we could not get to Andy Dalton. We had one sack, and I believe it was by Jihad Ward. So one sack. You had all your starters back, and all your starters back on the defensive front, and you could only get to Andy Dalton once. There was no interior pressure. Andy Dalton was relatively clean in that game, so he was able to throw the ball and make a lot of effective plays. We cannot allow that. The Browns have a lot of great weapons, and if we sit back and give Baker Mayfield an opportunity to throw to these guys, we're going to be in trouble. So we need our pass rush to step their game up and get to Baker Mayfield. If we slow down the run game, that will give us an opportunity to get to Baker Mayfield. We'll put the pressure on him, and either we're sacking him or we're forcing him to make a mistake. And that's where our secondary is going to come in. Last but not least, force him to make a mistake, man. This secondary has to make up for their performance last week. They didn't give up any big plays per se, but they consistently got beat to the outside by those Cowboys receivers. I don't know what was going on. Humphrey, that was not his best game. Marcus Peters has been basically unplayable for the last couple of games. Granted, he has been dealing with an injury. I understand that. Hopefully he gets healthy and he'll perform better because we need him to perform great in this game. But yeah, he's just been bad the last couple weeks. So I'm hoping this secondary steps up. Also, Chuck Clark. I'm going to need to see more from him, man. I'm going to need to see more from him. I'm going to need to see more from Chuck Clark. What I'm getting from Deshaun Elliott is relatively well. I want him to keep up that pace. But for the most part, I just need my guys to go out there and be efficient. We don't know if Jimmy Smith is going to be able to play in this game. It's possible. If we get Jimmy Smith back, that can definitely help our secondary. But I just need this entire secondary unit to step up and just force Baker to make a mistake. If we can slow down the run, if we can put the pressure on Baker Mayfield, and our secondary can force him to make a mistake and get a couple turnovers, we will be in a good position to win. So, with that being said, what do the Ravens need to do overall? Defensively, stop the run, put the pressure on Baker Mayfield, force him to make a mistake. Offensively, get the run game going, establish it, protect Lamar Jackson, get the pass game going early, get Lamar Jackson in the rhythm. If we can do all these things, we will be in a great position to win this game. And if we can win this game, I'm telling you, we're going to be back on track. And we may end up finishing the season 11-5. Then again, we will not look forward or look past those other teams we have to face off with. But 8-5 is a whole lot better than 7-6. So we've got to get the job done. And last but not least, this special teams, which is usually great, but wasn't great against the Cowboys. Yeah, you got to step it up, man. I couldn't believe Tucker missed that field goal, but I know Tucker's going to be relatively fine. I don't think he's going to miss, like, a field goal under 40 yards moving forward. That just happened to happen because Joe Buck decided he wants to jinx kickers for no reason. He's always been doing this. So, yeah, it is what it is. They're going to get that together. And special team units got to make sure we don't give up any big returns while also trying to make, go for a big return ourselves. So that's pretty much it. And last but not least, this coaching staff needs to step up. They need to prove themselves. They need to go out there and coach an efficient game. I need a great coaching performance by the entire team. The entire staff needs to show up and coach well. And overall, I just don't want Harbaugh to get outcoached by Stefanski. If he gets outcoached by Stefanski, I'm going to have serious questions for John Harbaugh and this entire coaching unit. So we'll see what happens, man. It should be an interesting game. This is a key matchup, a pivotal matchup, an AFC North battle. You know it's going down. With that being said, I'm going to take the Ravens in this game. Man, this is going to be tough. I'm going to take the Ravens 28-24. I think this is a game we're going to get the passing game a little bit going for the most part. I can see Lamar Jackson having 2 or 3 touchdowns for the most part, similar to his performance against the Browns in week 1. He'll probably have 2 or 3 total touchdowns, though in that game he had like 3 touchdown passes. He didn't really run the ball, but like he had 3 touchdown passes. He may be able to replicate that this time. We'll see. I could see him getting 3 touchdowns, 1 going to Andrews, 1 going to Marquise, and let's say either Willie Snead or maybe Miles Boykin steps up and gets himself another touchdown. We'll see. So I'll give Lamar the 3 touchdown passes. The touchdown run, I'm going to give it to Gus Edwards. I think he's going to be very effective in this game. He's going to be doing a lot of that power running downhill, and he's just going to be able to do his thing. JK will also be effective as well, and he'll be chunking a lot of yards, making a lot of elusive plays, and just getting one over on Cleveland's defense. So I'm thinking that's going to happen. As for the defense, I think they can force Baker Mayfield to make at least 1 mistake. They're going to do a relatively good job of slowing down the run. They're not going to completely shut it down because we didn't shut it down the first time we faced them, so I don't see it happening this time. They're going to do a relatively good job, slow them down as much as they can, and they're going to play a bit of a bend but don't break type of defense, which they'll give up a lot of yards, but they're not going to give up a lot of points. For the most part. They'll still probably give it 24. And the game will be relatively tight, but I think Baltimore comes out of this with the victory 28-24. We'll advance to 8-5. Cleveland will fall to 9-4, and we'll see how the rest of the season pans out. With that being said, that's all I've got. We'll see what happens Monday night. It's going to be a great game. That's all I got for you guys, and I'm out of here, man. Peace. Go Ravens!